Welcome, everyone. It's Career Happy Hour. We'll get started here in just a second. Just want to make sure that everybody is here, that we are broadcasting live, and every channel that I'm broadcasting on is producing content. So we'll get started here in just a second. Let me know where you're joining from. Welcome, everyone. It's Andrew Beach, Executive Career Coach. I'm a teacher of self-education. I help professionals communicate their value to find great opportunities faster, whether you're working or not. That's for people trying to secure employment or a promotion. If that's you, let me know in the chat. Where are you joining from? This is FAQ Friday, Career Happy Hour. We have a number of hashtags you can follow today. Go ahead and grab your favorite one and share this with your friends. I noticed that JT O'Donnell, I think it's one of the first times she's done a live broadcast, and for millions and millions of followers that she has, I think she only had like 400 people on her stream. So I'm hoping we can beat that number today. So what I'd like you to do is share this with your network. Let them know that I'm here every single Friday at 3 o'clock p.m. Pacific time to answer any career coaching questions they might have. Whether that's interviewing, resume, market planning, networking, identifying opportunities, whatever that looks like, using LinkedIn. I do a lot of LinkedIn tutorials here too. So whatever that looks like for you, make sure that you share this thing. There's a little link down at the bottom. Share it with your network. Add a little hashtag there, Career Happy Hour, and ask me any questions that you want. I'm happy to answer. Wanted to give you an update on the podcast. We haven't done that in a while. This episode that dropped last Wednesday was actually how to maintain momentum in your career. And sometimes we get into a groove. Some might call it a rut. But either way, there's times where you need to have a plan and maintain momentum. And we talk about that in the podcast, episode 069. I put the link to the podcast episode, I think, in the notes of this particular live stream. Go ahead and let me know where you're joining from. What questions do you have? I know it's the Friday right before a holiday week, and that's the topic of today's session, actually, is the year over. And I think there's still time. It's the 20th. I think we have 30, 31, 11 days. 11 calendar days left. Do you think every company is completely closed, not operating, not hiring anybody? I think you would be mistaken. I had clients actually this week interview for GM roles. GM, okay? A general manager of a business, a pretty large, substantial business, actually, billion-dollar business. That was happening this week. To think that there's not companies hiring, people not working, yes, there might be slowdown. There might be situations where people are not at the office. That doesn't mean they're not available to meet. Networking is the number one way to find work today. And if it were me, I would be out networking this next 2 weeks, fitting in, certainly there's family obligations, holidays. I get all that. Don't mistake what I'm saying. You can still fit in some conversations for sure. Let me know where you're joining from and what questions you have in the chat. Happy to answer. So there's still people interviewing. I had two people last week and one person this week. And they're going to 4th and 5th round interviews. So yes, there's still stuff going on. There's still companies who want to hire. And yes, you might negotiate a start date after the holidays, and that's perfectly normal. Whatever that is, make sure that you're positioning yourself to be in consideration. Companies are still open. Just because it's the holidays doesn't mean they're closed. Okay, people are still shopping, so that means retail is open. People are still ordering Amazon. That means logistics is still running. Companies have their websites up. That means technology still works. I have a friend who does websites, high volume e-commerce websites. Do you think he's taken time off? Not this time of year, he's not. So, not that he may not be available, but the point is, people are still working. The year isn't over yet. There's still 11 calendar days left. How many people could you meet in 11 calendar days? How many people could you accidentally bump into at Starbucks or the mall or at your local library, whatever that looks like? Okay, that means a lot of them have extra time to meet up. Why? Because they like to kind of dial it back a little bit. They might be doing some planning, some goal setting, some learning, right? These are things that everybody does this time of year, setting some New Year's resolutions, trying to find different ways to make a difference, not only in your life, but in the lives of others. So whatever that is, go ahead and leave me some questions in the chat. I was thinking about this word today. Again, this is Career Happy Hour. This is your time. I'm here for you. If you have any questions at all, I am happy to answer. I coach a lot of people professionally, and I'm happy to answer any career coaching questions you have. Consider me free coaching every week, 3 p.m. Pacific time. Okay? Let me know where you're joining from. Share this with your friends. There is a little share button down at the bottom of the screen. I'm sure you can see that. But I would like to know what questions you have for me. Happy to answer. Looks like we have a handful of folks here on the stream. Spread the word. This is every Friday, 3 p.m. This is my commitment to you, even in the new year. Maybe I should do it twice a week. What do you think? Is there a better time during the week that you think people would be interested in having these conversations? I'll do it twice a week. 3 times a week? Oh, that might be pushing it. But happy to assist, whatever it takes. So anyway, I was thinking about this word this week and what it meant to me, and that was generosity. What does generosity mean to me? And what happens when I give generosity and it's not reciprocated? What should I do about that? And that's something that often comes up in networking. And people that you think are going to help you, that you're generous towards, don't end up helping you. Normal. Or there's people that you're hardly generous to at all, and they're overly generous to you. Now, if you want generosity, the only thing you control is your giving of the generosity. You don't control the other person reciprocating. This is the holiday season. I would encourage you to exercise your generosity, whether that's with your time, your talent, your treasures, your money, a small gift, whatever that looks like. Do what you can to make a contribution to somebody else. That might be somebody else, who knows, that someday reciprocates. Or it could be somebody that heard secondhand, thirdhand about your generosity, and they feel compelled to close the loop on that generosity. Just because you're generous doesn't mean it won't be returned to you. Go ahead and leave any questions you have in the chat. Looks like we have a handful of people here. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Don't be shy. This is your time, and I don't want to waste your time. So if there's no questions, we can tap out early and go to the weekend, and I wish you a happy holiday next week. And we will be here next Friday, like I said, every Friday. Now, if that Friday happens to end up being on a pretty substantial holiday like Christmas or New Year's, then I probably won't do this session, or I'll pre-record a session. Not that there aren't systems that can't be implemented on your side too, for those days that you're not available. Putting out posts or making contributions in some way. Anyway. All right, folks. Well, listen, I do appreciate you and all you've done to make this year a success for me. And I'll see you next Friday. Wish you a Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas if you celebrate, Happy Hanukkah if that's you, Kwanzaa, Festivus. I'm okay with all of those. And I wish you all the best, and have a great day.